Hello, BookTube. My proverbial cup runneth over with books, as usual, but you don't seem to mind. And even though my email inbox runneth over with people saying I'm deadly to their book buying budgets, even so. So I've got more packages here. I thought we'd just go through them. It's not really about opening the mail, right? It's about talking about the books. So, and there's always a point to that on BookTube. So let's see what we have here. It's just a few packages. I won't keep you long. Let's see what this first one is. From Pegasus Books. Always a great, oh goodness gracious. Okay. This is yet another copy of Rising in Flames by J.D. Dickey. And this is another advanced copy. I have a couple of finished copies. Now I have a couple of advanced copies. This comes out in early June, not long from now. And I've had a few people say that they saw it, they thought it was interesting. I think it's interesting too. But it's a perfect occasion, BookTube, for me to float a new idea on this channel. Very rare. I'm not a big fan of new ideas, but even so. And that is, as you know, in the past, the whole time that we've been doing this channel together, I have said, if any of the books that you see on this channel strike your fancy, let me know, and if I can, I will send you a copy. If I can, meaning if I'm commissioned to review it or plan to review it myself, then I might want to hold on to the advanced copy until I have a second copy, the finished copy, or I might want to hold on to everything until my review is done, and then you can have it unless I want to keep it. So a few hurdles, but not many. And I'd like to add a wrinkle to that understanding. Okay? Which is, as you all know, or as quite a few of you know, there are a bunch of newcomers, but I am the editor of an online literary journal called Open Letters Review. On the masthead, I share the masthead with some wonderful people, including a few booktubers who you know. Eric Carl Anderson is one of our editors, Britta Bowler, Jennifer, an insert literary pun here, Steve Partridge, remember when he used to make videos? And I do quite a bit of reviewing there. I am a nonstop fountain of book reviews. But we're always open to more book reviews. And in addition to that, I am perfectly willing to work with you to help you learn how to review a book and streamline your own reviewing talents. And I'd be happy to do that. And I have always made those two offers separately. If there's a book you're looking for, feel free to let me know, and I'll get it to you if I can. And also, if you try your hand and want to try your hand at reviewing books, I'll be happy to help you along. Now I'm thinking it might be time, after 2 years and 50,000 videos, it might be time to start linking those two just a little more closely. It might be time for us to start a new understanding in which, if you see an advanced copy that you're interested in reading, I will send it to you on condition that you review it for Open Letters. This is an invitation mainly to those of you who have never written a book review and certainly have never been published elsewhere. You're in some pretty good company on the Open Letters masthead. And it's not every literary journal, even a free online literary journal, that will offer to help you. I am offering to help you. So, if you're interested in this book, you now know, if you've been watching these videos, you now know that I have plenty of copies of it. I'd be happy to send it to you if you're willing to try reviewing it. If not, it's going to have to wait until I can either review it myself or get somebody to review it. But the whole reason, I mean, let's talk practicalities here for a minute, right? The whole reason that I'm sent 10 books a day in the mail is because I review books. The whole point of this, from a publicist's standpoint, or a publisher's standpoint, or an author's standpoint, is the review. Not to tickle my fancy. So let's start to think about that, especially those of you who write reviews regularly for Goodreads. Okay? Especially those of you who do that, because I have had emails from people over the last 2 years telling me, well, I don't know anything about reviewing books. I've never done it before. And then I look them up on Goodreads, and they have dozens of reviews. So I think you might be closer to being able to do this than you think you are. And why not do it at Open Letters Review? Why not try that? One way or another. I'll flesh it out, and we'll talk about it again. But in terms of this book, this is about Sherman's March to the Sea, a very incendiary subject, no pun intended, and the first study of that subject in a couple of years. Those of you who are Civil War fans, those of you who are Civil War buffs, if you want to try reviewing this, let me know. As you know, I now have multiple copies. So let's move on here. What is this next one? Oh goodness! Oh my! It's fragmenting on me. Oh, I'd rather not reach for the my ever handy scissors, which are right over my shoulder there. It's fragmenting on me. I'd rather not reach for them because my little puppy Frida is right next to me, sort of sleeping pressed against me, and she has a preternatural awareness of when I reach for the scissors because it sometimes means that I'm going to clip some of her fur, and she doesn't like that, even though it's not painful. She doesn't like it, so when she sees me out of the corner of her eye reach for the scissors, she bolts across the room, and I don't want to disturb her. But it doesn't matter. Anyways, oh boy. Oh my. Okay, well, we got 2 works of solid history in a row here. This one I hadn't seen. This is by Robert Kershaw, and this is Landing on the Edge of Eternity. 24 hours at Omaha Beach. The D-Day Landing. Look at that. Wow. Can you imagine filing off that troop carrier into the teeth of some of the worst concentrated fire in the whole history of World War II? Oh boy. All right. Okay, well, this is by Pegasus Books. They do such good stuff for history. Let's see what we have here. I'll point out this thing here. I know I have World War II fans out there. I know I do. Before World War II, Normandy's coast was best known for its sleepy villages and holiday destinations. Early in 1944, German Commander Field Marshal Erwin Rommel took one look at the gentle sloping sands and announced, "They will come here." He was referring to Omaha Beach, the private American D-Day landing site. The beach was subsequently transformed into 3 miles of lethal, bunker-protected arcs of fire, with seaside chats converted into concrete strongpoints, fringed by layers of barbed wire and mines. The German called it the Devil's Garden. Okay, fantastic. I am always up, as you all know, if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, I love World War II history. Absolutely love it. So I'm always up for a new book on the subject. Great. Fantastic. And then we've got a bunch of cardboard here, and that will wrap it up for today's mail, I believe. I believe there'll be no more. I'm not sure. I'm getting slightly bombarded with mail. So what have we got here? Oh, okay. We saw this before. This comes out as a $16 paperback in early June, and it is by James Ziskin. It's an Ellie Stone mystery called A Stone's Throw. Murder mystery that in this case is set around, obviously, as you can see, set around horse racing. For, the Dick Francis fans out there who, Dick Francis's franchise of horse racing murder mysteries is, of course, being continued. His estate was made sure that was true. We are in the age now where brand name recognition authors who have ongoing series the series are simply not going to stop. The family trust will find someone to keep them going with the author's name in big letters and the writer's name down below. That's happening even in non-franchise books with, like, for instance, the medical thriller writer Michael Palmer. His books are continuing with his name, big as life on the outside. I'm sure that the same thing will happen with Michael Crichton in due time. His publisher recently tried the age-old tactic. I don't know why publishers try it anymore. They must think that some portion of the reading public actually believes it. But with Dragon's Teeth, a great historical novel about rival dinosaur bone hunters, the publisher actually said, "Oh yeah, this was a manuscript of his that we just happened to find." The author of Jurassic Park, the author of the Andromeda Strain, just happened to find it. You weren't looking for it or anything. It wasn't like millions of dollars wrote on it. That business has been going on forever and was gently mocked by Arthur Conan Doyle in the Sherlock Holmes stories, where we're told that Dr. Watson keeps accounts of Holmes's adventures in a battered tin dispatch box. And so Holmes pastiche writers ever since have been saying, well, we found the dispatch box and it's full of stories. But anyway, if you want an alternative to Dick Francis. I think, I remember correctly, we saw this before. We saw the advanced copy of this. August 1962. That's another trend I'm noticing in murder mysteries, is setting them before the internet. So that you've got telephones and newspapers, and it's possible to hide something. It's possible for you not to know something about someone. It's possible for you not to know something about someone. So, Monsieur Green looks a little suspicious, and you put in an inquiry at Scotland Yard, but there are many Monsieur Greens, and they don't really know who he is. There's no internet search. There's no Reddit for somebody to hunt down his home address and throw eggs at it. There's nothing like that. I view that as a little bit of a retreat on the part of authors, that I'm seeing such a rising prevalence of murder mysteries set before the internet. I view that as a little bit of an imaginative retreat. But anyway, I have not read the description more than just a word and a date, and I'm already... A suspicious fire claims a tumble-down foaling barn on the grounds of the once proud Tempesta Farm, halfway between New Holland and Sarasota Springs, New York. The blaze, one of several in recent years at an abandoned farm, barely prompts a shrug from the local sheriff. That is, until the quote-unquote girl reporter, Ellie Stone, first on the scene, uncovers a singed length of racing silk in the rubble of the barn, and it's wrapped around the neck of one of the two charred bodies buried in the ashes. A bullet between the eyes of one of the victims confirms it's murder, and the police suspect gamblers. Ellie digs deeper. And I admit, I have had an advanced copy of this for a while and haven't read it. So just as a murder mystery fan, I should probably get to it. But let's move on. This next one is much heavier, so it might be a finished copy of some kind. Oh, no, it's not a finished copy. It's multiple books. Oh, this must be Angry Robot. Yes, it is. Okay, it's Angry Robot, and this time it's 2 trade paperbacks. Wow, okay. So this comes out in early June. Oh my god, my June shelf. I'll put a picture of it on my Bookstagram, but it's going to be grotesque. Absolutely grotesque. Worse than May. And I don't even want to think about October. Oh my god. OMG. I don't even want to think about October. But I've mentioned on this channel before, those of you, I'm constantly keeping an eye on, because I'm getting new subscribers all the time, and I'm constantly keeping an ear out for them. I get comments and I get emails from people saying, I don't put my email in my description here on BookTube, but as friends of mine have discovered, to their horror, my email is readily available online. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm all over the internet like a rash. But people have contacted me and said, I just found your channel, how wonderful, or I just found your channel, I'm enjoying it, or I just found your channel, I like the endless bookish talk, that sort of thing. So I'm keeping them in mind when I mentioned that I seem to be on Angry Robot's list for their new releases, which is wonderful. I absolutely love that. They're an enterprising and largely paperback-oriented science fiction publisher. And it's nice, because I love science fiction, and I don't review a lot of it, so I don't get a lot of it. So, for instance, those of you, I'm sure that quite a few of you are subscribed to Thomas's channel at SFF180. He gets everything. Knows everybody in the business. Knows every publisher, big and small. So his mail hauls are great stacks of new science fiction fantasy. And that doesn't happen with me. I would, if I were like him, if I had a name for reviewing this stuff, maybe I would get more of it, because publishers pay attention to that, and you develop a dialogue. But I don't really, and that sort of hampers me. So I'm very happy to be on Angry Robot's list. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be on Tor's list, but I'll take what I can get. So unlike usual with Angry Robot shipments, this is 2 trade paperbacks, which is great. So the first one is by Amber Royer, and it's called Free Chocolate. Space opera meets soap opera in a galactic war to control Earth's greatest export. Oh, if that's chocolate, I'm going to love this. So that's what it looks like. Wonderful original artwork cover. Latina culinary art student Bo Benitez becomes a fugitive when she's caught stealing a priceless cocoa pod from a heavily defended plantation. In the far future, chocolate is Earth's sole valuable export. I love it. And it must be kept safe from a hungry galaxy. Finally, a believable motive for an alien invasion. I would do the same thing for my beloved Mega Stuff Oreos. Now she's on the run. She quickly realizes that she's a link that could lead to Earth's tasty treasure, a fact not lost on both her supposedly devoted and supposedly human boyfriend and a creepy reptilian cop. And I'm sure quite a few young ladies out there, maybe quite a few young men as well, will read that in sympathy. I get emails, I get confessionals all the time from all of you who are by now so jaded by the dating experience that you are pretty much instinctively calling your boyfriend supposedly human. I sympathize. I don't know anything about the dating world. Seems like a self-imposed torture, but I sympathize. So the boyfriend is supposedly human, and the cop is creepy and reptilian. Just so you don't get those two mixed up. But when Bo sneaks onto an unmarked starship, things rapidly go from bad to worse, for the vessel belongs to a species famed throughout the galaxy for eating stowaways. Fleeing across the space lanes, surrounded by dangerous yet unnerving hunky aliens, Bo starts to realize that the threat to Earth might be far more intense than she first thought. Okay, I'm on board completely. That was even the description's hilarious in like 6 different ways. Okay, great. So it looks like this is the first in a series. Is this the first in a series? Free chocolate. I think this might be the first in the series. It certainly sounds like it. Okay, and then the next one. Look at this cover. Cameron Johnston, the traitor god. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? It's one of the few times where I wish I had a high resolution camera thing going on. The subtitle here, or the tagline is "Heroism could get a man killed," and I wonder if this is going to be. Okay. Well, anyway, let's see here. After 10 years on the run, dodging demons and debt, reviled magician Edrin Walker returns home to avenge the brutal murder of his friend. Linus had uncovered a terrible secret, something that threatened to devour the entire city. He tried to warn the Arcanum, the sorcerers who ruled the city, but he failed. Linus was skinned alive, and Walker felt every cut. Now nothing will stop him from finding the murderer. Magi, mortals, demons, and even the gods. Edrin Walker will burn them all if he has to. After all, it wouldn't be the first time he's killed a god. Okay, that sounds like it's not the first in a series. The Traitor God. No, it is a debut. It is a debut. Fantastic. Okay, so a very rare thing for Angry Robot. Not only are they both trade paperbacks, but it looks like they're both the first in a series. Those of you who've been watching this channel, you know that's usually the problem. Not much of a problem. It's a nice kind of problem to have. Usually the problem with Angry Robot books, especially the little mass markets that I get, is that I'm caught in the midstream. I have to ask for the earlier books. These two, I think I can jump right in, and that's great. That's fantastic. I mean, these are $13 paperbacks that are going to be in your bookstore, and I get to read them and find out what's going on. Authors that I've never encountered before. Okay, so that's great. Let's move on. We'll finish this up here. Okay. All right. Didn't request this. This also comes out in early June. This is by Violet Rama Steele, and it's called Life, Ghostbusters' Daughter. Life with my dad, Harold Ramis. She's the eldest child of beloved comedy legend Harold Ramis. Formerly a teacher and social worker, Violet is now a full-time writer and disgruntled homemaker. She lives in New York City with her husband and their 6 children. No wonder she's disgruntled. And this is just a memoir of her life growing up with a famous father. A father who was one of the Ghostbusters. How fascinating. Okay. All right, well, this was not a bad mail haul by any stretch. All right, so we have Ghostbusters' Daughter. We have The Traitor God, dark fantasy. Then Free Chocolate, comedic science fiction. A Stone's Throw, a murder mystery set in and around a foaling stable in the racing world. Landing on the Edge of Eternity. The title obviously being a nod to Jim Jones's From Here to Eternity, about the Omaha Beach landings. Incredibly dramatic story, even if you do it poorly, and I don't think it will be done poorly here, so we shall see. And then Rising in Flames, copy number 3, or maybe even number 4, which is available for review. Okay. So if you're watching this video and you've never written a review before, and you turn around and right behind you on the wall are 16 different American Civil War books, I want to hear from you. I'll walk you through it. I believe in you. We can make a review that you will be very happy with, and then it'll be out in the world, and we can do another one. Anyway, I'll wrap this up for now, but I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.